The Steelers had a rivalry of their own today. They renewed acquaintances with the Cleveland Browns. And here we go. Some war of the words a few days before, and then William Green apparently spitting in the face of Joey Porter. This before the game in Cleveland, both tossed out. Meanwhile, Jerome Bettis, he had the whole offensive line in there. Bettis had 2 touchdowns, 100-yard day. And the defense, Russell Stubats returns this one. The Steelers win 24-10. They've won 7 in a row. More in a moment. Meanwhile, clock mismanagement, Jets late. Quincy Carter, they squander time. Field goal at the end of the game ties Baltimore, but in overtime. Kyle Bowler to Kevin Johnson, setting up what he can do at OT twice last year, and this year Matt Stover. Good. Ravens come from behind to beat the Jets 20-17. First place on the line in the NFC Norris division. Dante Culpepper to Mo Williams, 4 TD passes for this Viking quarterback, tied with the Packers at 31. Brett Favre, Tony Fisher, setting up Brian Longwell. Good. The Pack beat the Vikes 34-31. They won 4 other times for first. First place on the line in the NFC West. Mark Bolger, Kevin Curtis. Rams throwing the first 13 times against the Seahawks. Sean Alexander. This play typifies Seattle. 6 times in time to 30, but all they got was field goals. Fumble. Williams forces it. Rams beat the Seahawks 23-12. They're tied for first. Mike Vick, showdown with Tampa Bay for first in the NFC South. Algie Crumpler touchdown, 24-14. Atlanta is 7-2. Meanwhile, Peyton Manning, you can't stop him. 5 touchdown passes. 2 to Dallas Clark. Colts all over Houston, 49-14. The Jaguars had their way to Detroit until 2 fourth-quarter punt returns by Eddie Janitor in a Drummond. This one with a minute to go. Amazing. It tied the game. He could go all the way into overtime. But then, David Garrard, starting in place of the injured Byron Leftwich. Jimmy Smith, touchdown, 23-17. Jags win an OT. Billy Volek, starting for McNair for Tennessee. To Drew Bennett, 47 yards. Titans lead by 3. Bears field goal ties it. Then, their defense gets in the act. It's a safety. Only the second time ever an overtime game's been won by a safety. 1917 Chicago. Emmitt Smith, 2 touchdowns. Giants squander a big lead as they did last week. Kurt Warner's pass tipped by Arizona's Carlos Dansby. Arizona wins 17-14. Mark Brunell benched. Patrick Ramsey in. Didn't matter. Picked by the Bengals, Torrey James. They beat Bill Parcells and Joe Gibbs in straight weeks. And they win it, 17-10. Meanwhile, Aaron Brooks to Joe, don't bother me, I'm on the horn. Touchdown. Saints beat the Chiefs 27-20. Todd Sauerbrunn, Casey Hurt. Sauerbrunn, the punter, makes a 30-yard field goal. Panthers from behind in San Francisco. Jake Daylight, come, I got a demo. To Muhsin Muhammad. Niners squander a 17-0 lead. Carolina beats them 37-27.
This halftime show is presented by the all-new Toyota Tacoma. Now that's moving you forward.
When we return, halftime heroes, which have to include Peyton Manning and the Bears defense, scoring all sorts of ways.
Welcome back to the Toyota Halftime Show with your host, Chris Berman.
20-0, the Patriots all over the Buffalo Bills at the half. Well, an axiom in football is, okay, it's nice to get a rookie quarterback and get him some time, but you can't win with him. I mean, Peyton Manning only won a few games when he started right out of the gates. Troy Aikman won 1 game the first year he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Can't win with a rookie quarterback. Wrong. Here's our halftime heroes, and every week we got to show you Ben Roethlisberger. Northern Ohio kid playing in Cleveland. What a thrill for him. And he's got receivers. He's got mobility. He's got receivers like Hines Ward making blocks. And he's got Plexico Burress. He and Burress have a great thing together. And Ben can run. And oh, by the way, he's 7-0. First rookie to do that ever since they kept track of things. Craig Krenzel, 3-0 for the Bears, but he's getting help with his defense. This defense, here's Michael Haynes, the defensive line, scoring. His defense and special teams have scored 5 TDs already this year. And oh, by the way, Alex Brown the sack. Ogunlier falls on Fred Miller. The safety wins the game. Eddie Drummond, not one, but 2 punt returns in the fourth quarter for Detroit. Only the 11th time that a man has returned 2 punts for a touchdown in a game. Obviously much less in 1 quarter, albeit for not as the Lions lost. Brett Favre. I mean, did that bye come at the right time for him? The thumb, the hand to Javon Walker, and the Packers, like salad days again. They were 1-4. They're now 5-4. As Favre has thrown 4 touchdown passes in a scintillating win over the Minnesota Vikings. And Peyton Manning, I can do that better. Remember how they hooked up for that great game earlier this year? 5 TD passes for Peyton Manning, 31 on the season. Dan Marino's record in 1984 of 48 certainly is in jeopardy. Dallas Clark was the long one of the day. Look at the big tight end go. Peyton Manning, 3 5-touchdown pass games in his last 7 games this year, has 5 for his career. Marino has 6. And anytime you can put George Blanda and Warren Moon on a graphic, you certainly want to put it up there. Sunday stud, yeah, Manning will get some votes. You can vote and log on. Jerome Bettis will get some votes. Marshall. Log on, vote. We'll be back with more at the half. Oh, we love the CFL playoffs. The Western Conference Finals. Saskatchewan against British Columbia. Henry Burris, the one-time Bear, throwing for 400 yards to Elijah Thurman. Saskatchewan looking for an upset, leads by 3 late. Duncan O'Mahony for the British Columbia Lions, playing at home in Vancouver indoors. 47-yard field goal ties it for the win. Paul McCallum misses an 18-yarder. You still get a point, but you can't win on a rouge. And O'Mahony does, though, hit the field goal for British Columbia. They win 27-25. They're moving to the Grey Cup Finals next week against a surprise. 2 weeks ago, Montreal Alouettes beat Toronto 58-20. Coach Don Matthews gave his team 9 days off. Calvillo got hurt, the quarterback, and Toronto upsets Montreal. Toronto against British Columbia next Sunday night for the Grey Cup in Ottawa. Meanwhile, south of the border, oh yeah, there's a team called the New England Patriots. Tom Brady, David Patton, they're all over the Bills, 20-0, third quarter in a moment.